This video is for two types of people. First, Bob the Builder, the Saviours. If you find yourself trying to get your friend out of a toxic relationship or situation every now and then, but they don't listen to you, they ask for your advice, but they do what they want to do anyway. Or if you're the one who constantly asks your friend for advice but cannot help and go do the toxic thing anyway, constantly finding yourself in a toxic pattern, the second part of the video is for you. And if you have been on both sides, some or the other way, you can watch the whole video. I'm taking this video from the front camera of my phone, so it might lead to a not so good quality, but I really wanted to make this video today and I don't have much time, so I need to squeeze this video in my today's schedule. But bear with me, the message is what's more important, right? I am Rosh and welcome back to my channel. If you have someone in your life who you think is on the wrong path or who's doing something that is very bad for them, maybe they are in a very hurtful situation and they refuse to walk away from that situation. They are maybe in a toxic marriage, a friendship, a relationship, and they are constantly complaining about how much it hurts them, how much it bothers them, but they refuse to walk away from that person, or they refuse to do anything about that problem. If you're dealing with such people, listen to me. Just because you understand their problem and you know the solution to their problem, you know how to save them, it is not your responsibility to step into their shit and get yourself dirty. It is not your responsibility to get yourself involved in their pain and hurt. It is not your responsibility to save them from themselves. You know why? Because guess what? They are very well aware of what needs to be done. It's not that they don't know what to do, it's that they are not ready to go do it yet. They don't have it in them to go do it yet. Nothing you can say to them will make them take that necessary step. Even if you do manage to have a very meaningful conversation with that friend and convince her to leave her shitty boyfriend, it won't last long. She will get back together with him the next day. They always go back to them, and it will happen over and over and over again. And you know what that will do to you? It will drain you. It will completely exhaust you and drain you. Why? Because you're so emotionally invested in that friend and you genuinely want them to be happy and you genuinely want to take away their pain. You just wish you could. You want to take away their problem and you want to fix their problem for them. So you keep convincing them to leave that toxic relationship because in your head, you are being a good friend to them. But can you recall the feeling when you get to know that she's back together with a shitty boyfriend? Or she's entertaining that toxic situation again? It hurts you too. You feel the pain. You feel bad that you invested so much time and energy in explaining to them how that thing is bad for them, but they still went and did it anyway. They literally took a U-turn and went right back into that situation, right back to that person again. Well, newsflash, you cannot save a person who is a threat to themselves. You can only help someone who wants to be helped. Because today you will get them out of one bad situation and tomorrow they will find themselves in another one. Or worse, the same one. And the disappointment, bro, the disappointment that comes with dealing with such friends. I have cried for my friends. I have literally begged them to not entertain disrespectful behavior. I have given it my all, trying to explain to them why should they not be in a toxic relationship and why they deserve better. I have been up all night explaining to them how to respect themselves, to prioritize themselves, to realize their worth, that they don't deserve that. I have done everything in my power to save them the pain of being with the wrong person or being in the wrong situation. And guess what? The next morning, they're back together with the same person. It hasn't happened once. It has not happened once. It has happened over and over and over again for years. And for years, what I failed to realize is they were not the only one refusing to learn their lesson. I was refusing to learn mine too. I was constantly trying to fix people and fix their problems for them. I was trying to be their savior. I was trying to be Bob the Builder, and that was not taking any of us anywhere. What I was failing to realize is that I cannot live their experiences for them. I cannot make their mistakes for them. I cannot mess things up for them, and I cannot learn and grow for them. Because I too have learned a lot of things in my life by making mistakes myself, by having certain experiences myself, by messing up over and over again myself. And even if someone would have told me all the do's and don'ts and all the rights and wrongs, I would have probably made those mistakes. And I would still only have learned from experiencing those myself. So no, you don't have to save everyone who's going through the same things that you've already been through, because it is not your responsibility. But Rosh, what good are my mistakes and lessons if I can't use them to help someone except myself? Yes, you can. And you should. There are people who are genuinely lost and who sincerely seek help to get through the situation that you've already been through. There are people who are open to receiving your advice and willing to make a change for themselves, who choose not to be stuck in a loop of the same mistakes. Those are the ones who need your help. Because what happens when you try to help someone who doesn't want to be helped is that you get attached to the result of your advice. What does that mean? What that means is when you give someone an advice or an opinion, and you don't care what they do with that advice. You don't care if they take it, they consider it. Your job is done when you have expressed yourself. That's when your job is done. And your attitude towards that is, this is what I think. Do whatever you want with this information. But when you're attached to the result of your advice or opinion, that you are hurt that they didn't take your advice, you are offended that they don't agree with your opinion. If it hurts, bothers, or affects you in any way, if they choose to discard what you said, then you've got a problem. Then either you're constantly hurt or disappointed that you're trying to help someone, you're trying to help a friend, but they don't want to be helped, or you are just agitated and angry and bitter. You're frustrated that somebody doesn't agree with your opinion, you become bitter. So even if you're giving advice to people who might not actually take it, be sure to not get attached with the result. Your job should be done when you've expressed yourself. If you're someone who finds themselves in a toxic situation, Now, if you're someone who finds themselves in a toxic pattern, if you keep going back to your toxic boyfriend, girlfriend, or a situation, you know what needs to be done, but still you go do the same thing. That gets you stuck in that loop. Solution is not what you need. What you need is time or courage, because it takes time to make a mistake. And it takes time to not learn from it and make the same mistake again. It takes more time for you to repeat that mistake over and over again. And it takes more time for you to pause and realize, what am I doing? What am I doing? It takes time for you to get sick of yourself. It takes all this time for you to be fed up of living the same script over and over again. And after that, it takes no time for you to do things differently. It takes no time to finally make a change. You can decide right now in this very moment that you want a different life and you will have a different life. But guess what? Many of you won't. Making a change takes no time. But coming to that decision to finally want to make a change takes for you to be done with your older self. And that takes time. And you decide when that time is over. And no matter how hard I try, I cannot take that experience away from you. No matter how much I want to, I cannot take that time away from you. I cannot do it quickly for you. I cannot save you from yourself. I cannot save you from getting sick and tired of yourself, because that needs to happen for you to finally want a different life for yourself. Because when you have found comfort in pain and toxicity, no matter how much I try to take the pain and toxicity away from you, you will not feel the pain being taken away. You will feel the comfort being taken away because you have found comfort in that, and you will not let that happen. You need to feel suffocated. You need to feel that you cannot breathe any longer. You need to feel nauseous in your comfort zone in order to finally want to get out of that comfort zone. Because when the pain of remaining the same becomes greater than the cost of changing, that's when you step out of your comfort zone. But because a lesson you refuse to learn will keep repeating itself until you finally change. Others can guide you, they can root for you, but what they cannot do is get it done for you. And people who can get out of their comfort zone before it becomes hell, before they're left with no choice, before their circumstances push them to get out, they always choose the discomfort of growth over the comfort of remaining the same. Who make that decision not because life is forcing them to, but because they're hungry for a better life. They cannot afford to miss out on the good things that are ahead. They know they deserve better and they are ready to go get it. Those are the kind of people the devil itself is scared of. Because they refuse to be the victims of their own circumstances. They refuse to let anyone or anything make them feel small. They're always ready to walk away where they're not respected or valued, or where they're getting anything less than what they deserve. That takes courage. If you want to save yourself all that time and skip to the part where you take control of your life instead of letting life or other people push you around, that takes courage. You want to put on certain clothes and makeup to look like a badass? How about you become one? How about you try leaving that useless trash can boyfriend of yours and never looking back? How badass of a move is that? How about for once you instantly walk away when you're disrespected? How hot is that? How about you prioritize yourself over everything and everyone else? How sexy of you would that be? How about you start standing your ground regardless of how it makes other people feel, even if they are your friends? Is there anything more badass than being unapologetically yourself and taking up space and being so fucking authentic? Sounds like a diva to me. If you're ever curious about how higher self-embodiment looks like, try doing that. Because why are you sad when somebody disrespects you? Why are you crying if they try to bring you down? People don't owe you love, respect, and support. You're not entitled to that. It is a choice. Treating someone well is a choice. They don't owe you anything. But you know who does? You do. You owe it to yourself to give yourself everything, to love yourself, support, value, respect yourself. You owe it to yourself to walk away from anyone who makes the choice to mistreat you, who do not meet your standards. Because why should anybody else take the responsibility to make you feel good about yourself, to save you? It is weak and immature of you to hold somebody else responsible for your happiness. Because if you don't see yourself as lovable, respectable, valuable, or worthy, why should anybody else? That's it for today's video, guys. I have my Instagram in the description if you want to follow me there. And thank you so much for watching. And I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.